Hello, Joe here from Infiniti of Tacoma. I got something special for you today. This super awesome 2019 Tesla Model X Performance with Ludicrous. A whole lot of information, a whole lot to talk about on this Model X. So cool, so different than almost any other car in the world. We like Teslas at Infiniti of Tacoma. We have a very big pre-owned business. We sell lots of pre-owned Teslas at any given time. We have about 8 to 10 pre-owned Teslas in stock, mostly 3s and Ys. The S's and the X's are a little bit harder to come by, the X's especially. And this is a beautiful example. This one is almost as loaded as you can get in 2019. I think the only thing it doesn't have is like the upgraded performance wheels, but aside from that, it has all the bells and whistles. In 2018, they made the premium upgrades package standard across the board on the S and X. So you have lots of standard equipment, of course. You know, this is one of Tesla's flagship luxury vehicles, so they do make a lot of equipment standard on this. So let's talk about what this does have, and it has a lot. Okay, so the Model X Performance. So what happened is for a while, Tesla would use numbers in the names of their vehicles. They'd have like the 75D, the 60, the 90, the 100, and that numbers would stand for the size of the battery pack. So obviously the 75D version of the Model X would have a smaller battery pack, so it wouldn't have as long a range as like a newer, bigger battery pack Tesla like the P100D. Well, in 2019, Tesla decided to simplify things. Instead of having the Model X, P100D, they just called it the Model X Performance. So that's basically what this is. So the Model X P100D, which was the previous top-of-the-line performance version of the Model X, is now called the Performance. Then there's Ludicrous mode. Ludicrous mode, for my research, is a little extra. So the regular Model X Performance, 0 to 60, 3.5 seconds. Still very fast for a third-row seat midsize crossover. Ludicrous mode's up the ante, and supposedly, from my research, Ludicrous mode was an extra like $15,000 option. That extra $15,000 unlocks more performance. 0 to 60, 2.8 seconds. Top speed, 155 miles an hour. Man, what an amazing performance machine. So what other software does this thing have? One question that a lot of our Tesla buyers ask is, does it have full self-driving? Does it have full self-driving? 99% of the time, no, it doesn't have full self-driving because it's expensive and a lot of people don't buy it. And the thing with full self-driving is that from what I've seen, and I don't work at Tesla, but it seems to me that if full self-driving is purchased after the fact, a lot of times it will lose when you have an ownership transfer. The only time full self-driving stays with a Tesla if it's purchased with a vehicle brand new. And I think it's a legality thing because I think if you have an option on a window sticker, legally you can't take it away on a car in the US. But it's kind of like an iPhone. If you buy someone else's iPhone, they'll do a factory reset. You don't get all the software on someone else's iPhone when you buy it. You do a reset and then you have to buy the software again for Apple or Google. That's kind of where Tesla's going, but for some reason, I guess if they sell full self-driving when it's brand new, they can't take it away. So what we did is that we purchased this, we transferred this over to our business account. So we've transferred ownership. It is now on our business account ownership, and the full self-driving has stayed. So we know it's not going to be lost in the ownership transfer. The full self-driving capability is here to stay on this Model X. Right now, it's $12,000. The full self-driving, excuse me, just getting over a cold. Full self-driving is still in beta. So full self-driving enables the car to navigate on the highway to your destination automatically, changes lanes so you don't get stuck behind slow cars, park in single touch, and summon your car to come find you. Available features vary based on market. Every driver is responsible for remaining alert. Obviously, that makes sense. So full self-driving capability does give you some features. There is a beta mode. To unlock the beta mode, Tesla actually monitors your driving score. So there's actually a safety score thing here. And I think to be able to use the beta software, you have to have a driving safety score of 98 out of 100. So you can see hard acceleration, hard braking. Not an easy thing to do to have a 98 out of 100 when you have a 0 to 60 2.8 second performance vehicle like this. So a lot of people probably aren't going to qualify for the beta version of the full self-driving. And then when you use the beta version of the full self-driving, you have to pay attention. You have to keep your hand on the wheel. Also, the reason why they have this safety score is eventually Tesla is going to offer insurance. They offer it in a number of states now. Hopefully they'll offer it in Washington. It seems to be a lot cheaper than the alternatives. Exciting things coming, I guess. Okay, so full self-driving is still in beta. Eventually, I think Tesla will sell full self-driving, and then vehicles will truly be full self-driving. You can take a nap, maybe you can drop you off at work, you can go park yourself. If you want to make extra money, maybe it can make money as a driverless robo-taxi for you. That is all possible in the future. It's not set in stone, but Tesla seems to be making big improvements on their full self-driving. Every month I watch a lot of the beta testing on YouTube. There's a lot of information out there, and I think they will achieve it. And if you're interested, this is your gateway to full self-driving capability. It's going to automatically get the latest full self-driving updates as it improves, and eventually, hopefully, it will get out of beta. But you have a lot of other features like autopilot. Autopilot is standard across the board. It is amazing. Autopilot allows the vehicle to brake and accelerate in its own lane, and it allows it to steer in its own lane. So you have really cool stuff. You know, you have a traffic light sign and traffic light and sign, stop sign control, full self-driving visualization preview. You have the smart summon. So much cool stuff. This huge display screen with Google Maps. The majority of the functionality of this vehicle is handled on the screen. You have biohazard defense mode, which has giant HEPA filters the size of a HEPA filter in your home air filtration system for amazing air filtration. If you have allergies or even smoke and pollutants get filtered out, it's quite an amazing system. You have dog mode, camp mode. You can watch Netflix, you can watch Hulu, Disney Plus. You can play games. I mean, it's just, and then you have the toy box where you can do the whoopee cushion. You can make your horn sound like a fart or like an old car and a goat. Man, it's just, things just go on and on about this Model X. I'm going to try to keep this video short, but it's going to be hard to. All right, so let's start looking at what makes the Model X so different than a lot of other cars. Well, the first thing you'll notice is look at this windshield. Oh my heavens, look at the size of this windshield. It is unlike anything you've seen. The amount of visibility is uncanny in this windshield. Amazing visibility, and of course they're smart. They have sunshades and stuff like that, so it does a really good job. The upper part filtering out the sun. I think 98% of UV heat gets filtered out. So the Model X, very unique. It has automatic closing and opening doors. You can actually set it up so when you walk up to the Tesla, the door will open automatically. You just put your foot in the brake, the door will close automatically, and you just go. No start button. The car can sense that you're within its proximity. You just hit the brake, put it in drive, and you just drive away. It doesn't have an engine to start, so it's just ready to go as soon as you are. And another unique feature, there's no other vehicle that has these really cool falcon wing doors. They're quite amazing. And you'll also notice that the falcon wing doors have sensors in them, so even if you're in a tight parking situation, they can sense if there's another car close. They can sense if a person's close. Like for instance, I'm going to stand right here and see how the door reacts. You can see it opened up a little bit differently this time because I was standing very close to the door. So it's not a parlor trick. It really works very nicely. This has the second row captain's chairs. I do believe a second row bench seat was optional. You have a power adjustable seat. These seats are very, very comfortable. Very similar to the design of the front seats. Lots of space back here. And then you hit that button right there to close the door. Really nice and comfortable. You have some glass roof panels right there. Obviously the window's open. And then when I'm ready to get out, I just hit that button right there and then it will pop open. And then when you want to close it, you have that button right there. Really cool stuff. This one has a tow package. When properly equipped, it can tow right around 5,000 pounds with the dual motor Model X. Obviously the second row seats you can fold down pretty much flat. There's a little button right there and they fold. And I'm not sure if you can fold down the second row seats or not. I've never tried. Lots of extra storage down there. Just because you don't have a conventional layout like a gas car, you have extra storage in places you wouldn't expect in the Tesla. Let's take a look at the frunk. Normally you'd have an engine here, but you have all this space here for storage. It's also a safety feature because normally with an engine here, in a frontal collision, the engine can get pushed inside the car passenger compartment, but now you have all this space to absorb crash energy, so this contributes to making the Model X one of the safest crossover SUVs on the road. The autopilot and self-driving software make it safe. The way the car is built makes it safe. There's a lot of reasons why this car or crossover is very safe. Also, the weight of the batteries. It has a very, very low center of gravity. A majority of the weight of this vehicle is in the battery pack and is very, very low to the ground. So it has an extremely low center of gravity, very, very low rollover risk. It's probably one of the lowest rollover risks out of crossover SUVs. So it handles like a sports car, and of course it accelerates like a sports car. But let's take it for a spin and see how it accelerates like a sports car. How does that sound? Alright, let's take this Model X performance, Ludicrous performance, out for a spin. The user interface is, I think, second to none. Tesla really has an amazing user interface. They're constantly giving over their updates. We have lots of Teslas. It seems like almost every month it's telling us there's new updates. The vehicles are constantly gaining features. They're constantly improving. So that's the cool thing about Teslas, where a lot of vehicles will get older and they'll become obsolete. In a lot of ways, Teslas get better over time. You know, in our history of Tesla, you know, over the last couple of years, we've been selling pre-owned Teslas. We've seen them gain really cool features. We've seen the same old Model 3s, but they're gaining new features. Likewise with the S Next, they do a new update, and all of a sudden, you know, you might have a new feature like a blind spot camera or a new update to the security system. It's just really cool stuff. One of the best aspects of the Tesla, and something people don't really think about, is the autopilot. So you hear that beep? I love the beeps and sounds that Teslas make. So I have it on autopilot right now. It's really designed to be used for the highway, but you can use it on roads like this. You just really need to pay attention. Autopilot will have some extra features you normally get on other Teslas sorry, let's say that again. So with this Model X, with autopilot, since it also has the full self-driving capability, it has extra features that you normally don't get on other Teslas with just the autopilot. You'd have to upgrade to the full self-driving capability. And it's going to tell you, you know, to maybe jiggle the wheel a little bit just to prove that you're paying attention. So basically the car is driving itself. It's going with the flow of traffic. It's steering within its lane. It's moving with the flow of traffic. Really nice. In fact, today I just bought a Tesla Model 3 off Craigslist from a private seller, and I drove it all the way from Wallingford to Tacoma, Washington. I-5 stop and go traffic. That autopilot really was a godsend. I hate driving on the highway, and basically, you know, I'm paying attention. I have my hand in the wheel, but I put some jazz on, put the autopilot on, the car's doing the work, so I kind of was able to kind of tune out a little bit, and a whole level of stress that usually accompanies with me driving the highway. I don't usually like it. Just a whole level of stress kind of melts away because I'm kind of in supervisor mode. I'm still kind of monitoring the situation, getting ready to intervene if something happens, but the car is doing all the work for me. So I'm going to mash the throttle. We have a little straightaway here and see what happens. Woo! I don't go fast over the speed limit, but accelerating up to the speed limit is pretty fun stuff. And so very rapid acceleration. There's also a launch mode. So basically, you put your foot on the brake when the vehicle's at a stop, and then you put the throttle all the way down to the floor, and the car will let you know when it's ready. You take your foot off the brake, and then the car launches, and that's how you can get, you know, the 0 to 60 in the under 3-second range. And it's like having your own amusement park ride. That feeling when you're going on the roller coaster, like I always used to love the Superman roller coaster at Six Flags, that first initial drop. That feeling you get in your stomach on the roller coaster, I get that same feeling under hard acceleration or launch mode on these high performance Teslas. And the performance version of the X and the S, and of course now you have the Plaid versions, they're a whole nother level. Of course you have they have the Model 3 and Y, which are fast in its own right. Any Tesla is pretty fast in its own right, but then you have the Model 3 performance and Model Y performance, which are very fast. But the thing that you'll notice on those is they're really fast, you know, 0 to 60, you know, 0 to 60, 0 to 100, they're really fast. But when you get to 100 miles an hour, they kind of start to run out of steam. But the higher performance version, the performance version of this X with the Ludicrous mode, you still have a lot of pull at over 100 miles an hour. Not that, you know, most people go that fast, but we're dealing with a lot of power and torque here. Tesla doesn't produce numbers. They don't publish numbers on the 2019 Model X performance Ludicrous that I could find. But estimates as far as horsepower and torque are, I've heard estimates 700, 800 horsepower, 700, 800 pound-feet of torque. You're getting that from electric motors. So the thing about electric motor, it doesn't have to rev. It doesn't have to rev to like a certain RPM where it makes its maximum power. Electric motors have torque instantly as soon as you hit the power. That's why you get that neck snapping acceleration with Teslas and electric vehicles in general. It's just the instantaneous power. You don't get that with gas cars. The one instance where high-performance gas cars do have an advantage over electric cars, it's top-end acceleration. When you get to top end, like top speed, you know, 120, 130 plus miles per hour, that's when you'll start seeing, you know, high-performance gas-powered cars start to kind of pull away from, you know, electric cars. But it's not all completely true. I mean, obviously Tesla's taken things to another level with the Plaid. That's like 1100 horsepower. There's almost nothing that really can touch the Plaid that I've seen as far as acceleration goes. Maybe when you need to get into, like, you know, top fuel dragsters, or like you know, gas or alcohol you know, drag cars that were purpose made to go drag racing, then maybe you can, you know, compete with the Plaid version of the S and X. But everything else that's on the road, even like, you know, multi-million-dollar supercars, are having a hard time eclipsing the straight line acceleration that you're getting out of these high-performance Teslas. It's quite remarkable. So I got the autopilot on. You can see it's doing a pretty good job, you know, steering in the lane and going 44 miles an hour. You need to pay attention when you do stuff like this. You can't just kind of rely on the car doing things. And even though this is a big, I would say big, but it's a mid-size third-row seat crossover, the handling is really nice. Not only you get that straight line acceleration, you have really nice sports car-like handling that's aided by the low center of gravity provided by the batteries. You also have adjustable air suspension, so that's nice. You can, you know, obviously put the suspension in the lowest setting to lower your center of gravity even more for better handling. You know, hardly any body roll at all. This thing just sticks to the road. With the 2019 performance version of the X, you have a fully charged range of about 290 miles. Then you have, of course, Tesla's amazing Supercharging network. 30,000 superchargers throughout the world, the majority of them in the United States. So you can get a full charge in about 35 to 45 minutes. There's superchargers all over the place. There's two within 6 miles of us right now. And it will, if you navigate somewhere, it will make sure that you have enough range to get to where you need to go. If it knows that you don't have enough range to make it to your destination, it will divert you to the closest supercharger, tell you to charge, tell you how much you need to charge to make it to your destination. So there's no range anxiety. The Tesla's navigation computer has your back to get you where you need to go without running out of juice. And of course, with home charging, you set up 220, 240 service in your house. Your home's like a gas station. You come home, you plug it in, you wake up the next morning, you have a full charge. So your house is like the gas station. It's like an electric toothbrush. You use your electric toothbrush, you put it on the charger when you're done. When you want to use it again, it has a full charge. So that's the beauty of electric car ownership. And I can't tell you how nice the autopilot is. I have it on right now. Like I said, I don't like driving on the highway, but the car is handling the situation for me. It's reminding me, hey, jiggle the wheel a little bit, make sure you're paying attention. But it's doing the work for me. It's moving with the flow of traffic. It's gently steering me within my lane. I just need to pay attention and be ready to intervene in the rare case that maybe it doesn't see something. There's a situation where the car gets confused and I need to intervene. If you do that, it makes it very safe. The statistics right now, Tesla driving on autopilot averages about 1 accident for every 4 million miles driven, versus a traditional car of a human driver averages about 1 accident for every 500,000 miles driven. So statistically it proves that autopilot makes the Tesla safe. Alright, well that concludes our little drive in the Model X. If you're looking for an electric vehicle, if you're looking for a mid-size crossover with third row seating, you're looking for something that's very safe, very cool, unbelievable performance, look no further than this 2019 Model X with ludicrous performance. It literally is ludicrous when you mash the accelerator, but it also can be a very sane vehicle for everyday driving. You can put the acceleration in chill mode, the steering in standard mode, and it's a nice, comfortable, quiet, easygoing luxury vehicle. Or it can be a fire-breathing, performance vehicle that can put a lot of high-performance sports cars to shame in your 3-row mid-size luxury crossover. Have a wonderful day, and thanks so much for taking the time today to watch this video.